like always are making remarks, and the posts that you make are like always or a lot of times are like demeaning and marginalizing and actually undervaluing like Black people. And then this post that you put, the last one, was just like, they should have let him burn. Like, that struck something in me, because the way I feel about what's going on, like, if I was in another situation, maybe I would be out there in that same way. So to me, he was speaking about me. Like, I saw him telling me, somebody like, hey, they should have let you burn. He's already said things about the Kaepernick protest, like that was peaceful. They got a problem with that. So it's like, and he doesn't offer any kind of like explanation, any kind of intelligent banter with it. It's just a post from like a Breitbart news outlet, which is actually a far right, like white nationalist news outlet. Steve Bannon, the one that was the White House advisor, like he was over Breitbart News. Like, that's how he gets articles from these kind. And I know where they come from, and I know he knows. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I couldn't just keep letting that shit come in my face. I'm sorry, cousin. But I just couldn't let that just keep coming in my face. And that last statement, it just spoke like, out of everything that's going on in the world, that's what you post. But then you have the audacity to actually caption your words, they should have let him burn. Like, that's what you say with everything that's going on. That's what you have to offer. So yeah, that was it for me. I couldn't do it on one. The reason why I put it in the group, because this dude is always complimenting, congratulating, giving all these prayers and God bless you, this and that. And nah, man, this is who you are. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, don't be congratulating and putting on the front like you all holier than thou, and then this is what you really are saying. Like, I had a problem with that. I really had a problem with that. So that's why I put that out there.
Appreciate it, man.
And I didn't really expect what happened to happen. I really was just.
You froze up, dog.
So he just sent me a message. He just sent me a message.
Yeah, 648 number.
Say it again now.
Is his number 648 started off?
I don't. Let me check. He might be in my contacts.
I don't know. Whatever, whoever it is, they're gonna come through.
No. Well, that might be him. I don't know.
We finna see.
Add me in there. That's the best thing to do.
That's what you're doing.
Put him on in there.
Who is that? 8076.
No. We finna see.
Yeah. He was saying
it's a Mississippi number. It's 662.
He still had a Mississippi number.
Okay. Yeah.
Whoever it is, we ain't gonna talk to you. You know, we got to have everything is gonna be done, you know, respectfully and you know what, whoever 662, 648, we gotta see your face. Oh, Jelani, you back?
Oh, my bad. I don't know what just happened.
You good, bro?
Okay. Oh, but yeah. So I was just finishing up. I didn't expect what happened to happen, because I really was just like, you know what, man? I'm just gonna leave this right here, because I want everybody to see that's why I posted the screenshot of my comment too, because I wanted you to see what I had to say.
Oh, that's what's name. That's I hear you. That's
I put what I had to say too, so I wanted it to be known. Like, I don't stand for this shit. So damn, sorry about cuss.
Man, you good? Go ahead. I had to. My sister and family got on me about cussing Thursday, because I was so upset. So I promised them I wouldn't cuss no more. Y'all can cuss. I ain't gonna cuss. I'm trying to change my life.
All right. I'm gonna try to follow your format. I'm gonna try to follow that. But yeah,
Nah, do you, man? Do what you
Yeah,
know.
right.
Hey, Jelani, it's hard for me not to. I've been reading the dictionary lately. I done found some words, but it's
Yeah.
hard for me to remember what I've been reading to
Yeah.
translate. I got a cussing problem, you know. So God working on me about my cussing problem. So
Yeah, yeah.
I like to cuss.
Hey,
Right.
Bert, hey, it's all right. There was a study done a few years ago that proved that if you cuss, it's a sign of intelligence.
God damn it, there it is.
You all right, dog?
Y'all back to cussing tonight. You nigga, I love you for some reason, boy.
Yeah.
What you say?
But yeah, to that, you know, it was just to show like, man, this is who he is. This is how he really thinks. And I was just like I said, man, I was tired of seeing some of the same stuff over and over again. I'm like, man, that was it for me, man. That was just it. But I do appreciate, you know, the conversation that everybody had and the understanding people was even attempted to get. Like,
Dadgummit.
you know what I'm saying? Just don't say things. And I believe
He must be on Wi-Fi.
What do you need to go to then?
Well, no, it's just depending on how you set up. It'll kick back in.
and like that ain't nothing. But man, yo, just lack of basics.
We know what he's saying.
Yeah.
You like, I got a problem. I don't care who it is. I got a problem with that.
So this is something that I've been thinking.
And I knew I could bring it to our class because, man, our class is like, nah, we really got something going on. Like that's why that surprised me. Like, that surprised me.
Hey, Jelani, what connection you using?
Yeah, so I don't know. It just
He's still talking.
Yeah.
I think if you have I think if you have a mentality like that about people,
That's who you really are.
mentality breeds hate. So I don't think, you know, I think some people a difference of opinion, and it's really not like you're actually valuing and underestimating a whole group of people or a person. Like, that's what that is. Different. Like I said, policy and all that other shit we can talk about, but when you say messages, that's you speaking for yourself. So let that just ride, man. I'm not.
It seems like it got worse when this other caller joined. Would that have anything to do?
Shouldn't.
Caller that still hadn't identified themselves?
Yeah, they probably need to be muted. Whoever that is needs to be muted because they're interfering with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just dropped out. They'll come back.
Oh, that was Angela Hogan.
Oh, I wasn't meaning to be mean, Angela.
But she wasn't in here.
So what I was gonna say. So I mean, I think we all get the fact, you know, we know right from wrong. But I guess my biggest concern now is that I have a 12-year-old about to turn 13, and you know, things today I almost feel like are worse than when we came through. I mean, because we didn't necessarily so much as see it. It existed, but we didn't so much as see it. You know, what do we tell them? What do we tell them today to how to navigate these minefields? Because, you know, and then when you start thinking about the fact that what teachers are, hiding this and that. What do we do? How do we handle that?
Well, I'll offer the thing that I put up on our class page the other day. And when I started teaching in Biloxi, the first 5 years I was an assistant football coach, but I taught at the county juvenile correctional facility and did a lot of work with troubled youth, and it was pretty much kids of all races, white, black, Asian, Indian, you name it. And one of the biggest things I've gotten out of my teaching experience down here is something I always try to keep in the back of my head. And it's something I started telling my 8th graders a few years ago is, when you start to interact with a person, you got to remember that when it was time for us to be born, we weren't given a choice where we got to go. You know what I mean? We don't know where people come from. We don't know the struggles that people have been through. We don't know their view of the world. So you try to treat people fairly and you try to be honest with them. Even sometimes when honesty is going to be frank, sometimes honesty will piss them off. But that's what I'm going to try to instill in my son, who's 5 and who's curious about everything right now. So just respect the fact that that's a human being standing in front of you. It's doesn't matter if it's a male or a female, black, white, whatever. Just respect that human being that's in front of you.
Nick, I feel you, but Gerard, to your question, I have a lot of kids and I be forgetting their age, so
I did not ask that question.
Oh no, I'm gonna get to you.
I'm messing. I'm just messing.
I got a 15, a 14, and a 9 boys.
Oh wow.
Okay. So it had to be Tuesday or Wednesday. I called them, we FaceTime and stuff, and I was like, we have me and their mothers, we have never taught or discussed anything that's dealing with hate towards any race. This is what's going on in the country right now. You need to be aware of it. You need to stay off your phones when you're out in public. You need to know how to carry yourself. You need to know if you're in a car with your mother or sister, make sure you make no type of movement that will ever have an officer thinking that you're doing anything besides, hell, looking straight. And it's so, and like Nick said, Gerard said, it's so awkward that in 2020, we having a conversation with our kids as African-American kids, the protocol that you need to go by to potentially not get killed. If I'm as your father or you with your mother getting a standard traffic ticket, or if you walking down the street or anything, and I don't know how to deal with them because I pray and I want them to not have an attitude like me. Because I know I done been in situations where I done told officers, oh boy, I can't cuss. You're not going to touch me. You're not going to put your hands on me. You're not going to talk to me in a certain manner. And that's just what it is. However we got to handle this from here, but you're not finna treat me any kind of way. And so I don't, as I'm having this tearful conversation with them, it's like, why are we still here? And it blows my mind. But hey, Stephanie, can I ask you something?
Sure.
how is it for you, you know, coming up Starkville, Mississippi, you having an interracial relationship, marriage? What have y'all dealt with, you know, from a family standpoint, friends, or just a community of people to know, you know, what can you really give us some insight on that?
Yeah, my friends have been great. I was disowned by my dad's father. He told me I was crazy and needed therapy because I liked a black man. And that was my first marriage. He disowned me, and I didn't talk to him for, I guess it was probably 15 years, almost 10, 12 years or something like that. He didn't call me until he was on his deathbed, and then he apologized. But and Fred, I've been with my husband now. I've been with him. We've been together 15 years, and we were together when my grandfather passed away. He actually had a picture of all of us, my whole family, in his wallet that he kept, even though he wouldn't talk to us and wouldn't have anything to do with us. So really, that's the only thing I've really had to deal with. My mom's side of the family has all accepted us. Most of them are from Chicago, so they don't really see, they're not from Mississippi, so they don't really see the whole big deal about the color issue. As far as my friends, though, from Starkville, I hadn't had any issues. Here in Madison, we've never had any issues either. We have white friends, we have black friends, and our neighborhood is, you know, we have black, white, multiracial families and everything, so we don't really deal with too much racism here. My kids, I think Hayden, she's 15. She's had one instance where she liked a white boy, and the father is not all about that. So he could not date her because she was mixed. So that's the only thing she's dealt with. We teach our girls that they can date whoever they want to as long as they're treated right. We don't care if they're white, black, Chinese. I don't care what color you date or what you're attracted to, as long as you're treated respectfully. And that's what we teach them. One of my daughters is outside right now, and she has a mixture. There's white, black, mixed out there. So we just teach them to love people in general and not to look at skin color or where they came from. And here in Madison, that's really the only instance we've had. We've never had an instance where our kids were told they couldn't spend the night somewhere, couldn't go to somebody's house or anything like that because they're mixed. Kids spend the night here. Our kids go to their houses. Call Hayden.
So,
Somehow she left. I will
She'll
say,
get back.
I've got a 15-year-old and a 9-year-old, and both of them have asked me at different times, just out of nowhere, you know, Mom, could I date a black guy one day? You know, and I'm like, I'm the same way. I said, baby, you can date whoever you want to date as long as they respect you as a person, you know, as long as, and me, and respect, you know what I mean? Like, as long as they're a respectful kid, I don't care. You know, but you asked that question also just about like raising kids right now. I don't know what to say about this. Here's what I wanted to say. Thank y'all so much for the stories that people have recently shared on Facebook in our group, like Mangal sharing his experience going down to senior trip, you know, and like Bert, you just talking about the way that you have to talk to your you know, like that's really eye-opening, and I appreciate the vulnerability it takes to talk about that kind of stuff, you know, because it really is like my heart hurt so much when I read Mangal's story, you know, and it was like I couldn't believe that kind of thing. I had to believe that kind of thing would happen, you know, and so like I really appreciate all that.
So have y'all? So Elizabeth, have you ever seen or encountered any type of racial disparities anywhere that, you know, anything on that level?
If you're talking about like disparities, I'll tell you one thing. My oldest daughter, when she was probably second grade or something, came home one day and she was just like troubled. And I was like, "What's going on, Marianne?" And she said, "Mama, I noticed something in school." And I was like, What?" And she said, "Mama, the teachers, they answer all my questions and they try to help me." And she said, "Mama, some of my Black friends, they don't help as much." And she was really upset about it. And so, we had to talk about how that wasn't right. So that's the first thing I can think of, Bert, as far as seeing as her in action, seeing some kind of racial discrimination, and she was in second grade and able to see that's not right.
Hey, Nick, why we still here, buddy?
Do what?
Why we still here? Why in 2020 we still having conversations about blacks and whites and equal rights, voting, about why are we still here as a nation? Why are we still here?
Well, like anything worth having, sometimes it takes time. I kind of feel out of place saying this, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. Or let me ask you, Bert, Gerard, Jelani. And I know, Gerard, you brought up a great point about the bubble that we grew up in, and then all of a sudden we get outside the bubble. But in your view, have things steadily gotten better, say, since we can go back to before we were born, since 1960 to now? Have things gotten better since then?
Fuck, I mean, God, I can't cuss.
Well, and the reason I ask, the reason I bring that up is when I was a graduate assistant at Mississippi State, one thing I took from Coach Kroon was when he first got there, it was a mess. And he says, we're trying to change the way people think. And when you get into trying to change the way people think, that takes time. And you have to, you're going to have you're going to have some victories along the way, but you're also going to have some losses too. So it's kind of like, the old 2 steps forward, 1 step back deal, so. And am I wrong, Gerard? I see you got.
Yeah. So I love this. I love this question. And the truth of it is actually, it's really complex. So in the 60s, that era,
Yeah.
I think it was more acceptable to be openly racist.
Right.
Yeah.
So you kind of knew what you were dealing with.
Yeah.
And then as time kind of went on, that it was known to be unacceptable.
Right.
But I'm still going to hold on to it. And so in doing so, they kind of went into the shadows. So I don't know if we can truly say, did things get better? Well, on the surface, but were they still breeding hate in the shadows?
Right.
So at that point, when you think about it, pray. Hate is a learned behavior.
Yeah.
Absolutely a learned behavior.
Right.
So where did you learn it from? And then were you told that you can't do this out in the open, you'll be ridiculed? But and then at what point do these people that this has been bred into get into positions of power, positions of authority, and then they're running an alternate agenda?
Right.
That we may not see, but it's happening. I mean, I think everybody on this call can agree that there have been things done in the shadows to suppress suppress voting. I mean, we know that. To, you know, economic disparities, redlining for housing. I mean, the list goes on and on. And I mean, to the point where, I mean, the latest thing in the last 10 years has been gerrymandering. I mean, we look at these districts and how we are electing public officials. And I mean, Alabama, let me tell you, Alabama is probably the worst. So we have a congresswoman, Congresswoman Terry Sewell, and her district, African American woman, her district runs from Birmingham to a part of Tuscaloosa. Literally, it stops at listen to me, there's a bridge that separates pretty much Tuscaloosa from Northport.
Yeah.
All right. She's on the south side of the bridge. So where she picks up part of Tuscaloosa, she doesn't get the ritzy area of Tuscaloosa where all the property taxes are actually going. But the area where there's apartments and stuff like that, she's got all of that. But then here's the kicker. It goes all the way down to Selma, basically tracing 65, and then it gets to Selma and then it opens up. It's crazy.
That stare got you, didn't it?
So, but that's a classic case of gerrymandering these districts to be fitted for who they want to have it. So,
Right.
So when we ask that question, it's just so complicated. You know,
Right.
I can't say that it's not better because in 2020, you know, I've been afforded the opportunity to get an education. I went to the military. All of us have, you know, and so I can't just say, no, nothing's better. I can't say that.
Right.
But what's been working in the shadows
Right.
to prevent, you know, I'm one out of, you know, whatever billion, but how many others, you know, because I know for a fact there were a lot of people in school that was way smarter than me, you know, and may not have had, and I didn't have a lot of opportunities, but just may not have had as many opportunities as I had once I left Starkville and went somewhere else, you know, but I know they were smarter than me. What happened? You know, and so I don't know, Nick. I guess I don't know if I answered your question or not, but it's just so complicated.
I know it's complicated, and then that's why I asked the question, because, you know, by no means am I qualified to answer it. You know, that's why I asked, because I'm trying to learn your perspective and Bert's perspective, Jelani's perspective, Stephanie, Elizabeth. You know, I'm here to learn. You know.
Yeah,
All right. Appreciate that. So, go ahead, Bert. Go ahead, Will.
I just want to say this to Nick. What I respect you for, people of the Caucasian culture, they never wanted to listen. They never wanted, I'm not saying everybody, no, I'm not saying everyone. They never wanted to listen and really listen for, you know, a lot of people listen to respond. They don't listen to understand what angle coming from, or what experiences that we have had in life. So I can, you know, after I say this, I'll let Jelani say what he's saying. You know, I just respect you for it to be able to say that, hey, let me get this information so I can understand what y'all have been dealing with. What do y'all see from it that has had this whole nation just messed up for, man, hundreds of years?
Right.
You know, but go ahead, Jelani.
Oh, yeah. So I was just, when we talk about progress, to me, you know, if they say progress is like upward and forward movement, like past, like to me, I don't see anything as progress, because we've all heard that you know, we've come a long way in race relations or whatever. But what does that actually mean? Does that mean because Black people have gotten the right to vote that we can go to any school we want? I don't understand how treating somebody as a human being is progress. If I take your $5 and I give it back to you, I didn't just give you $5. That's your $5. So I can't take nothing from you and then give it back to you and say, man, we're doing better now.
Right.
Like you artificially took my humanity because you're not God, so you can't make me or not make me a human. So you artificially made laws to take my humanity, then you artificially made laws to give me humanity back. You can't give me nothing you don't have to take. You see what I'm saying? So when I hear progress, I don't give anybody credit. I don't get credit for making sure my son eats because I'm his father. You don't get credit for treating people like human beings. We're human beings. And to me, and I used to think that way, like, yeah, we have come a long way from the 60s because, you know, we can vote. And like I was the first generation born in my family that with the right to vote. So my mom was born, she didn't have the right to vote. She got it later, but I was born with the right to vote. I was born in 79, so think about that. This nation been around since 1776. So 203 years after, I was the first generation to be born with the right to vote. And I had generations of people in this nation since, you know. So yeah, to me, progress is that's a loaded word, really a loaded term, because I don't see the progress in anything. To me, progress will be if you see where deficits are racially in education, wealth, economics, politics, like fix that then. Because you put laws and ways in to break it. So whatever you did to break it is Newton's law. Hey, what's Newton's law of motion? There's an opposite and equal reaction. Wait, every action has an opposite and equal reaction. So if you're gonna change something, change it. Like if you implemented something to break something down, you're gonna have to implement something to bring it up. With the same veracity, the same strategy, the same the same dedication you had to breaking it, you got to put that same energy into making it, to breaking it back together. So yeah, when I say that would be real progress to me, like address the deficits you see. Like when you see a pandemic happen, now everybody's like, oh, healthcare is really bad in some of these urban communities. And, oh, really? We've been saying this shit forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you saying? Like, it took a worldwide pandemic to learn that? Like, no. And you know, it just goes back to like what the basis of this country was. In 1619, they brought 20 African people and enslaved them. And that was the beginning of what America was. Like that was what we came to be. So when a black man or black woman says they want something else, their freedom, it's a psyche to the Americans. Like, wait, that's not what this is supposed to be. Because now you gotta think about it, if the foundation is faulty, your house ain't gonna never be straight. So you got to address what was the founding of this nation. Like the founding principles of this nation, the stock market, the first stock ever sold was a slave. Like you have to think about what all these institutions are built on, like a system, and that system needs to be eradicated. You can't patch up a ship, man, with holes. You got to bring a whole other mother ship. You got to get another ship, because that ship ain't gonna sail, man. It's gonna sink every time, because it's always a hole here, a hole there. So that's what I think about when you ask about has progress been made, and like I think it is. I'm not gonna say like, you know, every school not getting firebombed or anything like that, but our education system in our areas is trash because most of the public schools you're funded on property taxes. So
Right.
our property taxes are, hey, that's dominoes fall.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. So but just really attack those inequities that you really see, and don't give credit for treating people like human beings, because I mean that's what you do when you get up in the morning. Yeah, what the hell? I'm supposed to take out the trash on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's when the trash comes. Don't applaud me for that. That's what I'm supposed to do. So that's what I feel about that. But I appreciate you asking and listening, and because you got a couple of different perspectives, and we just all see it. I think we're all saying it's a long way to go. Like what we thought what it was, I don't think we can see now. Nah, we ain't came a long way. Like America's burning 10 days straight? Yeah.
I think it's day 12.
So day 12.
I think it's day 12.
Yeah.
Hey, so Jelani, tell everybody what you got going on with your organization, your foundation. I know you give, you do this reading thing with the kids. Just introduce it so everybody can know.
Oh yeah.
Because you've been doing some great things, man. And I'm really, and I'm gonna, I like to tell people stuff that I know we virtual now, but I really like to talk to people to their face. I'm really pissed off at you because we from that same town. You grew up across the street from my dad. You've been in Dallas, Texas. I don't know how long. I've been out here 12 years, and I ain't seen your ass. So I
ain't seen you either. I've been out here since 2009.
We supposed to see each other.
Where you been? You stay away. Hey, we gonna fix that. Cause I've been here since 2009 too. So you been what?
I came in 2000 and shit. What year we in?
It's 2020 now.
2020.
What year I came? 07 or 08, one of them, man. I can't remember. I don't keep up with that stuff.
All right, we gonna fix that then. So we ain't nothing but a hop, skip, and a jump away. We gonna fix that, bro. But you right. We should have been seen. I saw Twan in Starkville before I saw him in Dallas.
Right.
I had to Twan in Starkville. And he stayed like an hour away though. But anyway, that ain't that far. And everything in Texas is kind of spread out.
Yeah, 30.
So, but yeah, man, so our organization is called I don't know some of y'all followers, it's called Black to Life, BLACK, the number 2, and the word life. And Black is an acronym meaning bringing love and conscious knowledge to life. And what we do, we empower our Black men to strengthen our underserved neighborhoods through education and inspiration. So what we do, we have nationwide book drives all over America where we give out like free books in underserved neighborhoods that don't have libraries or have like low reading scores in their school districts. And we just reach out to people. And so far we've been in 18 cities. How many states? 15 states, 18 cities, giving out over like 50,000 free books. That's been since 2017. Yeah, so a little over 3 years. Yeah, no, this coming up on our 3rd year. This is our 3rd year. So yeah, 50,000 books we've given out. We've given out 5 scholarships to kids that wanted to go to school to be a teacher. It was like $500 a piece scholarships for men and young ladies that wanted to go to school to be teachers. What else we've done? We've done teacher grants where we give out like 15 teachers like $100 in the beginning of the year for like school supplies, because I know I was a teacher before, and man, you spend a lot of your money on them kids when they get there because they don't be having nothing. And you know what I'm saying? So we try to like, and yeah, Nick, you should apply, man. You're a teacher. I'm gonna give you the info. Just apply to our inbox. Yeah, we big teachers because we got most of the teachers from Dallas last year, but we want like more teachers all over the nation, because we know, like I said, teachers have to go into their pockets. So we like, it's just a little $100 or whatever. Anything, try to ease the pockets. So
Right.
yeah. So we just in neighborhoods, man, just trying to change, you know, the image of our community, just trying to change the thought process of our community, because we were doing research on literacy, and that's the reason why we became literacy advocates, because mass incarceration is directly tied to literacy. 78% of all incarcerated youth, this is like 12 to 18, are they can't read past the 4th grade level, and that's called the functional literacy level, which is like basically fill in the blank, like writing a job application, reading a menu, you know, filling in, you know, just simple answers. So if you can't even fill out a job application, then your options are kind of slim in that aspect of anything. So we want to encourage reading amongst our community, because our communities are the ones that are that have the most reading deficits. America itself doesn't even score over, so it's a reading scale that goes to 500, and America as a country as a whole, literacy only scores 225. Out of that, the whole United States of America is 225 on 500 scale reading scores. So, and our minority communities are the ones that are hit the most. So that's why we were just like, you know, we want to do something about this. So we just started giving out books, and it caught on. Then other people were calling, hey man, we want to give out books in our community too. So we just started sending out books and raise. It's a nonprofit, so we raise money like on Facebook and through Cash App, whatever, and then we just buy the books. We try to send like 1,000 to each city, whoever wants to have a book drive, and, you know, just give it out to kids. And yeah, like I said, we're just trying to further that literacy and reading amongst our community, man, because we see that link in between mass incarceration and reading. So our kids are the ones that are most hit with like the resource officers instead of counselors. Like, so, you know, we come into contact with law enforcement like real early. So we want to just try to, like, anything we can do to try to quell that. And books, man, you know, reading is going to be essential no matter what you do. So we encourage the parents as well as the kids, and they're all free. And we usually, like I said, we have 1,000 books, so we let kids get as many as they want, man. And they enjoy it. So, yeah, we've been going on for like 3 years, man, and we're gonna continue to do that. Now we're gonna add another realm to our organization with voter registration, because this election and mainly just from now on, like, we see, you know, a lot of people don't know in Minnesota, the reason why the Attorney General Keith Ellison had to take over is because the DA, which is an elected official, refused to prosecute the case. So people don't know that, hey, you need to go vote for your DA in your city, because this shit right here might happen.
Right. Yep.
So I want to educate, you know, more of the masses on voting, because you need to be really worried about who control the water you drink, the air you breathe, the streets you drive on.
Local,
like,
right.
That's what you need to be worried about right now, because that affects you right now, like today when you wake up in the morning. So yeah, who your education system, like, that's who. And I just want to give these kids like that kind of power. Like, it's a lot of kids about to turn 18. I wish somebody would have said that to us. I don't remember getting this talk about how important voting was. I just don't remember it, not in school. My parents used to teach me that all the time, but I never remember getting this, like, how important it is in your local elections. I can't remember that. So that's one thing we want to add to our arsenal, man, because we just believe conscious knowledge, man. Education is the key. That's how you move forward in anything, is knowledge. Because if you don't know, yeah, you either operating blindly or you just gonna stand still, and both of those is a no-go.
Jelani, you'll be happy to know. So I went to the march, you know, that we had yesterday, and they had like tons of tents and people going throughout the crowd, getting people to register to vote, which was super cool. Like, they were trying to think, what can we do beyond today's march, you know, and and they have a planning team that's going to do even farther kind of stuff. But they had people there doing census work, which is, you know, we're up for census, and then the voter registration. Rowan told me, if y'all remember Rowan Williams,
Oh, yeah.
told me she knows they registered at least 100 more people, which was, pretty good just to have on that, couple of hours. That's all.
Yeah.
If we're busy and,
Yep, that's good.
coming. I'll tell you this, Jelani, also, Rowan had told me about your foundation, and I want to say that it was Trey, but I think it was. She had told me one time that every time Trey or someone wrote something racist, she donated her to the Jelani's foundation.
She did. She
So
was like,
I think
hey, why don't you donate to this cause right here? She did.
Yep. I think it was Trey that she was doing it because she'd get so angry, and she'd just be like, I can't type back every time I'm angry. And so she decided, she's like, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to donate to Jelani every time. I thought that was the coolest thing.
Yeah, and then she used to like comment on his posts. Like, hey, why don't you donate to BlacksAndLife.com? Like every time, I was like, dang. And she would tag me on it too. I was like, wow. Because I was like, that Trey is just crazy, man. Trey, with some of the stuff I was seeing, I was just like, yeah, he drive, well, I'm going to say what he puts out there, it's just, hey, man, it comes from, hey, everybody saw the post and the comments after. So a lot of people just felt they need to speak out and say some things. So a lot of things came out that were, hey, man, this is actually not a one isolated incident. Like, this seems to be a recurring theme. And the common denominator is you, sir. So, yeah, man.
Hey, Jelani.
Yeah.
You got LaTanya Hickman. She says she would like to bring the program to her son's school in Columbus, Georgia. She say that her son loves reading. So
okay, I can get with her and she can DM me or she can hit the Black to Life mailbox or whatever. I can get with her anytime. Anytime we can get that down there. Because all we need is some people. That's it.
Right, cool. So let me ask everyone this question. Do y'all feel racism is taught at home?
Of course.
I do.
Because a lot of people, I have heard over the last few days that it's not taught at home. It's, I done heard different excuses. I know my opinion. I know that, when you taking your rides to the grocery store or whatever and you having dinner and breakfast, you have those conversations. So, what's y'all opinion on that?
I'm going to say that everything starts at home. All of your learning starts at home. So from the time you're little and, you're impressionable in those first few years of life, and what you hear is what you say. What you hear is what you see is what you do, and that's how you act, and you learn all of that at home. I'm sure some things can be taught in daycares and such, all that, but your parents are the ones that are teaching you how to be a person and how to love people or not to love people or be against people or to look at skin color, period. Obviously, one of us is white and one of us is black, so my kids have the best of both worlds, but we've never taught them to look at somebody's skin color and judge them for that, or to like people for what they look like, even if it's regardless of skin color. If a boy has long hair, who cares? Like, you just like people for people and not for what they look like. So I definitely think it's taught at home, because those are the first adults that make the impression on your life, and it's lasting, especially because you live in the same household and you hear it and you see it every single day. So
how did Steph? Let me just stay right there for you a second. With the respect and the love you have for your grandfather, I know you were speaking about him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
When you first found out how he truly felt about African Americans, what did that do inside of you?
It was hurtful, because me personally, like my dad never really spoke on it too much. He just let us have whatever friends we wanted to have, whatever. But my mom really taught us just to love people in general. But whenever I introduced my black boyfriend at the time, and my parents found out, they had to make a whole, like, they had to go for a whole sit down at my grandparents' house to let them know what was going on, like it was some big deal. And so they go and sit down, and then I get the phone call telling me that I need therapy and that I'm crazy and that I'll never have anything in life. And I was told that by my uncle, which is my dad's brother, and my grandfather. My uncle still doesn't talk to me to this day. They told me I would never have a good job. They told me I would never have anything in this life, which most of you know, I've been a paralegal for 20 years now, and I have a great job. I own my own store. I own my own home. But they told me I would never have any of that because I was dating a black guy at the time and then end up marrying him. They also told my uncle also told me that he hoped I was infertile so I couldn't have half-breed kids. So I dealt with that from my own family. I've never dealt with that from a stranger or from a friend. It all came from my dad's side of the family. So it's hurtful, but at the same time, I know that it's complete ignorance and that I don't have to be miserable with him. I'm happy and he's miserable as hell. And I can assure you that my uncle is so miserable. He doesn't come to any of the family functions because since my grandfather has died, my grandmother has my husband there and me and my whole family. Like, she was never against it, but she just kind of went along with her husband, you know, when he was alive. But now that we all come to the family functions, my uncle doesn't come to any of them. And that's fine. He just sits in his misery. He's literally alone, you know, every day. He's just alone. Disowned everybody. So, you know, I couldn't see myself living that way. You have to put way too much energy into hating people. Like, just why? Just be happy. Like, we have a great time together, and my family is a big old happy family. Like, we're just a big old blended happy family, and that's the way it should be. So.
Hey, Steph.
Yeah.
Where your husband went?
He just walked into the kitchen. Fred. Yeah. Come here.
Huh?
Here he is.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Fred?
What's going on, guys?
So in this how has this affected you, or what did knowing that her grandfather and uncle had some type of distaste for you because of your color, where did they take you?
Nowhere, because I live a good life, man. I don't worry about stuff like that.
All right, brother.
I mean, like even when her grandfather died, she was asking me, should she go to the funeral? I'm like, yeah, you should go to the funeral. That's your grandfather. Regardless of how he feels about me. I live a good life, man. I don't worry about all that crazy stuff. Not at all.
All right, brother.
I like this guy. What's his name?
Bert.
Hey, man, I really appreciate this. I mean, this is I think this will help us move forward in a lot of different areas and directions on life that people can actually see us having a conversation, and you know, Elizabeth, Steph, Nick, that we are willing to have this dialogue without any anger or without any you know, bad blood between each other. You know, and so Gerard, I hope that you can, you know, talk to Trey to allow him and let him know that asking him to come on and have a conversation with us, it wasn't about to shame him. It wasn't about to make him feel, I can't cuss.
Well, so when I originally sent him the message, it was just like, let's have an adult conversation. You know, I really, I didn't want to get in here, and you know, I told you this when we first started chatting about it. It was never the intent to want to drag him. I mean, we can drag him publicly. That's not it. But to know someone, excuse me, that we grew up with, and you know, we walked across that stage at the hump together, and we never, I can say for me, I never experienced that necessarily in our bubble. And then to see that, it just took me to a place that it was like, it's no way this couldn't have just happened. You didn't just start here. This is something that's rooted in you.
That's something that was
told you.
That was something that was hidden all along.
Yeah, but the thing is, like Nick said, it's hard to fake it. It's hard to fake. It's hard to fake that for 12 years with some, you know, longer than that. With, like Nick said, he was at scuba with him. It's hard to fake that long. So how do you get it? How do you do it? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
He can probably tell you.
Well, and that was, and I really just wanted to ask, man, just explain to me how you arrive at this place of another human to be able to just say, oh, let them burn up. I mean, there are some people that I really can't stand. I mean, I really, in life, I really can't stand. But if I saw them on fire, let me grab the water hose. You know, I'm gonna put them out. I mean, but that's just being complete. I mean, everybody doesn't love and like everybody. I mean, we're living in a land of pixie dust and fairy tales if we think that, and we're not there. But at the moment when someone is in need, you know, you give a stranger on the street $10. Is he gonna use it to eat? Is he gonna support his habit? I don't know. But I gave him a 10. But you wouldn't put him out on fire? Come on, man. That's just at a different level for me. And maybe he can chalk it up and say it was sarcasm.
Shit.
I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. But you know, but even at that, it's like, yeah, maybe not. You know, you're not winning the comedy show tonight on that one. So that's what did it for me. You know, I think about, you know, having, you know, being in place. I mean, even so, let me say this. Even having been deployed to Iraq, I was in Iraq from 03 to 05. And
Yo, you military?
Yeah.
I'm a U.S. Marine, bro.
Hey man, we don't mess with Marines. We let y'all go in first, and we'll come clean it up. So, but being there and looking at the level of humanity that we were forced to treat the Iraqi nationals with, knowing they're waving at us by day, and that same hand they're shooting at us by night. We knew this, but we still had to treat them with a certain level of humanity, even if we captured them or whatever. Humanity didn't die. And so for someone that didn't even necessarily have those experiences, to be able to go there, it's a little much for me.
Man, I don't know. And I just continue to go back and think about, we used to be at these people's house. And
She was a school teacher.
Right, and she was a school teacher.
Yeah, that's second grade.
That's deep. That's deep that, you know, she would get up every day for 182 days. That's it, Nick? 182 days y'all in school?
It's 180 now.
180 days.
Yeah.
She would get up and put this face on. Trey would get up and put this face on. I mean, it wasn't about, you know, because like I said, it was like 5 or 6 years ago. Me, Deshaun Ward, Trey, and someone else, we met at Saltgrass up here in Denton or somewhere, Jelani, somewhere, and we sat down and talked, and this is what I found out about Trey. Is watching and hear him talking. If he feels that you have made it as a African American, you know.
Come on, Bert. Bert, come on. Are you really? Oh, come on, man. Give it to me. I got to hear this. I got to hear it.
Man, I'm trying to stop from cussing. I promised my sister that I won't go cuss. As a listen how he play. Listen how he play. And I don't like to. It bothers me in my soul to have a conversation about a person and they're not present.
I agree.
So, you know, because I don't want them to feel that I was a sucker, unmanly, or whatever, to not say this, to regurgitate the same thing that I'm saying to y'all with in his presence. If you made it to a certain level, you can say the NFL, you can say a doctor, a lawyer, a athletic director, or whatever. He would type stuff that congratulate, praise, or come on, Gerard and Jelani, we're gonna keep it real. With certain people who think like Trey, if you had a certain status, okay, that's a good old boy. He done made it past. You know, we can give him that pat on the back. You know, if you're not that, you still just one of those ends, one of those that I can let you burn. So I wasn't surprised about it when Jelani posted it. I was like, damn, he finally came on out the closet fully now. And so I just want to, do I think Trey hear us and Trey done read those messages and seen them? Yeah, he has. Somebody can call him, but it's still an opportunity to that some way that you can understand where we come from, Trey. And I feel and I pray for your mother and father and you also and your kids that you can have a conversation to understand that you do not have to dislike us because our skin is a little darker than your skin. Mm-hmm. You don't have to dislike us because our lingo, as they say, our swag is different or nothing like that. We don't, I have to get to know Nick. I got to get to know Stephanie. I got to get to know Elizabeth or Kyle Clark or Hayden Carr, or I just have to get to know who these people is, not the color of their skin to deter me for having a educated, respectful conversation with anybody. So it's not that I was going blast Trey or cuss him out or say anything that would be demeaning to him. I just wanted to know, is like you said, Gerard, how did you be able to put on this front for so many years? And why do you feel that way about a fellow man? That's it.
That's it.
Why? But I want to know, how can for 40 years, man, you can put on a face for 40 years? I don't know. Y'all can, Elizabeth, Steph, Jelani, Nick.
Sound like you setting up episode number 2.
Man, Trey, it's like I told you. I would take you and your family out for wherever y'all wanted to go.
I guess I owe you one.
We can wait to episode 2 or 150. Trey is not coming to do that. Trey would rather delete us, or hopefully you delete him and just go on. You know,
all those cowards.
right. Right. Like I say, I have more respect. Like I say, Elizabeth, I remember you vaguely. Stephanie, I didn't really pay attention to people in school besides, you know, who I played sports with. Like I say, Jelani, he grew up from my father and my stepmom, Miss Marlene. But my mind was so, I've been knowing Gerard for a long time. My mind was so gone on some other stuff, you know, selling drugs and doing other stuff in my life that I didn't even, when we was in school, man, hell, my mind went on no damn school. I didn't want to be there. They were wasting my damn time. Hell, I made sure I had A's while we played football. But other than that, I ain't have time for all that crap. My grandmother was an educator for 40, 50 years. She done taught me all that. Everything to me when I was sitting in those classrooms was like blah, blah, blah. This woman here done already taught me this. So what the hell y'all talking about? I really, hell, we gotta be at the locker room.
You got that.
You know, I didn't care about that. It wasn't important because I done learned everything that I needed to know. And that was my mind at 14, 15, 16, 17. These folks wasting my damn time. You know, I'm not fearful of the path I done took in life anymore. I'm not ashamed of it. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Miller labeled me a menace to society. You know, and when I was in 11th grade. So it's fine. I did something that I shouldn't have done during the summertime, but hey, that's, you know. After then, I came into a point in time. Hell, I hate I can't cuss, but you know, it wasn't about that. It's about where do we go from here? How can we move this needle to that we have more Nicks and Elizabeth and Stephanie in the world to that we can combine together and stop this senseless BS, man. It don't make sense. It doesn't make sense that, you know, I was, Elizabeth, I seen you was there Saturday. I hate we didn't get to hook up. And, you know, once we made it to the MSU campus and the young lady asked of us to get on the ground for the 8 minutes and 46 seconds and to hear her say the words that this guy was saying, to ask this man, get off my body, get off my knee, I can't move, I can't breathe, calling for his mother. And to then, it comes a point in time that you don't hear nothing else from this man.
That was one of the most powerful things I've ever been in. And
That I ever seen in my life, Elizabeth, that I ever seen in my life, while I'm laying my fat ass on that ground. I'm thinking to myself, I'm sorry, Kay, I had to cuss. I'm thinking to myself, which, you know, I'm working out every day. So I'm laying on this ground thinking that how I'm going to work out every day to gain enough strength till I can get 3 men off my body. No disrespect, no nothing to Nick, to Elizabeth, to Stephanie, to y'all kids, to y'all family members. Y'all don't have to think that way. Mm-hmm. That I need to make sure tomorrow when I start lifting these weights, how much of strength that I can regain in my body to make sure that if I have 3 men on my body, that's from probably 600 pounds of force, how the hell can I get them off of me? Think about it, Gerard. Think about it, Jelani. Think about it, everybody out there in the world. How much of strength, how much that we need to get in the weight room, how much of time do we need to run these miles or walk to that I need to get one of those type of people off my neck, off my knees, off my ankles, off my legs that, you know, and hopefully that, hey, I can probably get a Nick or a Jelani or somebody to come and knock this SOB off of me.
Mhm.
You know, so that's like you said, Liz, that was I have never in my life experienced or I used to tell them when I was doing wrong stuff, I used to tell them, man, don't put your hands on me. Now, if you're gonna put some cuffs, let's go and do that and we'll handle that later. But you're not finna talk to me in any way, any kind of way, and you're not finna put your hands on me.
Mhm.
Period. So I don't know, man. I love y'all brothers, sisters, and you know, Mildred and my father never taught me to hate y'all because of y'all skin tone.
Mhm.
You know, so I thank y'all for y'all time, man. I appreciate it. And you know, y'all have something to say, Jelani, Nick, Liz.
Yeah, I just wanted to, man, I appreciate you having this platform and, you know, allowing the voices that you did, and, you know, man, you know, and it's just if people want to know, they should ask and be a part of these conversations, because, you know, watching on TV and social media ain't it. Like, you actually have to talk to people that know what they talking about, that actually like are in communities and be in communities that see stuff and are willing to try to be that change that they want to see. So yeah, before you go casting aspersions and just saying things, like, actually be in there and try to understand, you know, from that perspective. Because if you don't know, there's nothing wrong with not knowing. There's absolutely nothing wrong. But there's a wrong with speaking on shit you don't know. That's where you wrong at. And when you speak authoritatively, like, you know what you're talking about, or like, this is how I feel, and you just cast like aspersions or just ridicule or judgment on a certain aspect of something that you know nothing about, that's when problems occur. Because there are going to be people on the other side that know something about that and ain't going to let you make it. So, like I said, I appreciate this time, and hopefully, man, we can do this again. And like I said, I was surprised at the I wasn't surprised at the. Yes, I was. I just didn't expect all that to happen, but I wasn't. It wasn't like a shock, like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. It was just like, man, this is happening. Like, this is happening like right now. That's what it was. It was a pleasant surprise because, you know, I saw togetherness come in to us that we all said, most of us said we weren't going for that bullshit. Like, we talking about human beings, and, you know, America's burning for a reason. Like, it's a reason. People just didn't wake up one day, you know what, man? I'm finna go fuck up AutoZone. That's what I'm finna do today. That's on my agenda at 8 a.m. I'm just finna go tear down Target. Like, that's what it is. No, man, people saw, black people saw, white people saw, everybody saw Ahmaud Arbery get gunned down. They heard about Breonna Taylor getting shot in her sleep. And then you saw George Floyd for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That's what and then we got Sandra Bland, Korean Gang. We got Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King. Like, we got this. This wasn't George Floyd. This was a culmination of a systematic problem. And America will continue to burn. It burned in the 60s. It'll be burned in the 90s, 2000s. It's going to continue to burn unless the real problem is situated and not the reaction to the problem. Like, you can't set a fire and then try to see where it's gonna go. Like, the fire just gonna be a blaze. but don't start the fight. Don't start it. If you don't start it, it won't spread. So yeah, it's the systemic racism that this country was always built on. It's still prevalent, and we see it. Like we keep seeing it. And until that's addressed, instead of looting and rioting, like that's the one thing we've never tried. Never tried to eradicate racism. Like we've never tried that. We always say it's protected by First Amendment, all that. Try to get rid of that problem. Now that's a cancer, that's a plague, that's a virus that needs to die. And it can be done. It can be done. If it can be written into law, it can be written out of law. It can be. So that's what I have to say, man. Thanks y'all for, just coming out and offering your insights, everybody, and listening too. Yeah, I know I appreciate it. I appreciate things like this.
I think, Bert said something earlier, and I think it's really important. And even Jelani, you just saying the word listen, like that's what I keep hearing, like the last couple of days, listen. And Bert, you said something about listening, but not listening to respond, but actually just sitting there and listening. And I think that's the problem that white people have. I mean, I'm just going to say that, is, you want to listen and then but you want to have some response. You want to explain something or do, instead of just absolutely sitting down and hearing it all out, nobody wants to hear that they make part of something that is oppressing people, so they don't want to listen to it. And I think that a lot of people woke up, hopefully, over the past 2 weeks, that's going to have to change is I think more and more. There are plenty of African Americans who are speaking loudly, and wanting to say their story. Nick, Stephanie, it's us that need to be listening, and just shutting our mouth as I'm talking. I'm sorry, but anyway, that's just my thought. That's something I'm trying to learn how to do even more of. And I really appreciate this conversation that we've had tonight. Bert, thank you so much for initiating it. And hopefully we'll do it again and maybe more people will come if we're able to say that I feel like this was successful. I really enjoyed this time.
Yeah, I did too.
This was cool.
It was very respectful. It was very open and honest. And it was the thing that, hey, us 6 can lead to 26 and 100.
Right.
It can, because, it can be powerful for people to understand that we're not the angry black men and women that y'all trying to label us as.
Right.
Think about it. Gerard has went to different areas around the world to sacrifice his life for every mankind. Hell,
Yep.
They didn't tell Gerard to make sure that you only protect African Americans or it was everybody. When you took your pledge and whatever they say, I don't know nothing about it, but still, that's what I'm saying, man. Sports with Nick, man, that's what you taught. You go to war. Nick can't line up. If the fourth quarter we down to Meridian Wildcats and wonder, I'm standing next to Tony Dollison, the African American tackle. No, Nick gotta know that we.
Now, I tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking, all right, I better do the right thing, or Tony's gonna be in my ass after the play's over with. That's what I was thinking.
Right.
Hey, you up right your phone here.
Him or Zoo.
Yeah,
Right.
both of them.
Right.
Zoo fussing at you like this.
Yeah.
It's about a sisterhood and brotherhood, man. To have Step to have her come on and to be involved in a interracial marriage and to I still, even your grandfather gone, I still pray for him and, your uncles and, and those people who still believe that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we don't need, people, is a race war.
No.
We don't need that.
I fear that so much, man. Just with, you have your people that are out there gaslighting all of this stuff, and and it's not many times I'm afraid of much at this point in my life, but I do fear that lone wolf that decides that, you know what, I'm gonna end this all, and that's fine, and that scares me. There are some crazy people out here in these streets, and I just I pray it doesn't come to that. I really do. I pray it doesn't come to that, but I am fearful of it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Step, your last remarks?
No, but I enjoyed this, and I think we need to definitely do it again, and maybe even all of us post it on our Facebook pages for other people to even join into it. It's a good way to get that conversation out there that a lot of people are scared to talk about.
Yeah,
I can't wait till our next class reunion and just like hug all y'all.
I saw
cannot wait.
Clarissa pop in for like 2.2 seconds,
Right.
and I thought she was gonna get back in, but
Being
I think.
nice.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. But one thing I did notice just from us having the conversation, and it's always so difficult. I've noticed it to be difficult for Black people to say, well, white people, and white people to just say the word Black people. It's always like that. You got to get over that uncomfortable hump. Is it going to
Yeah.
be okay to say this? And I mean, I think we've just had an open dialogue about, just feelings and things that, this is what we're facing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really hope that others will join in, even with a different opinion. I would love to hear a different opinion, a different perspective. So maybe we find a compromise, but what I can speak for is for what I've experienced and people like me. And, so one of my funny, I guess I call it funny, story, what happened to me. So I was pumping gas at the gas pump at the gas station. And the guy asked me, he said, who do you play for? It's like, nah. I said, I don't play. He said, oh, that was a nice car. I was just wondering. Really? I said, in my response, I'm actually an engineer. And just left it at that. But, and somebody might say, well, what's the big deal? That's a form of systemic racism. If you don't get it, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be an athlete just to, to
have nice things.
or just to be successful.
Yeah.
I could have just went to school and actually cracked the book open somewhere.
Right.
No big deal, right?
Yeah.
So that was my story. So, but it's real. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
It happens.
Nick, you got any final remarks, buddy?
I really enjoyed it. I've always gone by the thing that, I try to learn something every day, and I gained some insight from this conversation. And before my last remark, Gerard, thank you for your service to our country. Stephanie, your husband, I don't see him, but tell him thank you for his service to our country. But as I've gotten older, I've started to read. I read more now than I ever did all through school. I mean,
brother.
I read just enough to pass the test. That's, and I'm not proud of it, but
it's okay.
But at the end of the day, all I'm looking for is the truth.
Yep.
You know, nobody was ever harmed by the truth. It might have pissed them off for about 5 seconds, but they appreciated the truth later on. So at the end of the day, all I seek is truth.
Yep.
That's it. That's hey, Gerard, I don't, you know, you still we would double up on our bet. So
Hold on. How about this? When we link up in Dallas, we'll just go get a steak. I got a place whenever I'm out there.
I can't stay like that. I got gout. It'll flare my gout up and I can't walk. So
Well, let me tell you,
I
hey,
want a steak, dog.
it's a place. So whenever I'm out there, I love to go out to Papa Brothers, man. So they got some seafood for you.
Yeah, I got you. We good on that. You know,
So we just gonna link up. Jelani, you make sure you show up now.
I'm there, man. Let me know.
Okay. All right.
Hey, hey, we're gonna do it again sometime, one time, you know. But for real, Trey, if you listen to us, hey, we're not mad at you. We're not upset at you. We don't want harm to come your way. We just want you to come and explain. Trey or anybody else that feels like Trey that's in our class, because Trey ain't the only one.
No, he's not.
I can give him some that, you know, he's bold enough to, you know, to express his views, you know. But, you know, hey, man, much love and respect to y'all. I thank y'all. I appreciate it. And we'll do it again.
Awesome. See y'all
All right,
guys
y'all.
later.
Hey,
Bye,
appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, y'all.
Thank y'all.
Bye.
Bye.